Take two, because there was two-way interruption with both phones. So welcome to the first official What If week. Now, like with the Who Would Win week, what I'm going to do is essentially what ifs throughout the week, leading up to Sunday. However, it's not going to, the way this is going to work is not this. I'm not going to start with one, just go through it all, and then start another one, because that's not going to be any fun. What I'm going to do is I picked out three different suggested what ifs to do. I'm going to do one today. I'm going to start with one today. I'm going to do the next one tomorrow, and then I'm going to do the third one on Wednesday. And then I'm going to rinse and repeat until I've gone through each one. Now, by the end of the week, I might still have some leftover ones to do. That's what I'll just end up doing those on my normal what if days. Or maybe I won't have any left. But some of them, I'll probably at least be able to get through three, or I'll get through two. Some may only take one, some may take three, some may take the entire week, who knows. But that's the way the what if weeks are going to work. So let's start off with What If Superman Was a Jedi? Brought to you by Brandon Whitman. And this one this what if you have to take some creative licensing with. Because obviously they don't exist in the same universe, so you have to bring one over to the other universe. We're not going to bring the Jedi over to the DC universe because them existing in modern day makes no freaking sense, honestly. Particularly modern day, like Earth and all that stuff. So we're going to bring Superman, Krypton over to the Star Wars universe. In terms of a time period, we're going to place this roughly around 8 years prior. We're going to actually make it 10 years prior to the events of Phantom Menace. Reason for that being will be evident a little later on. And so basically, the way I envision Krypton is, generally speaking, their force sensitivity, if any, is usually low. But I factor that to their biology, because due to red sun radiation, they are pretty much no different than humans. You put them in yellow sun radiation, they are extremely different. And this is the part I'm going to hate myself, but I have to bring midichlorians up into this, because they are canon whether we like them or not. And I would imagine that their midichlorians, and I'm going to bite back a curse every time I say that, are usually pretty inactive, or they're usually not very active or not in great supply, because the red sun radiation is, just keeps them dormant or just, kills off most cells. However, when we'll assume it's either a natural disaster or maybe Sidious went about destroying things, and a baby was able to get away, in this case Kal-El, because he's not Clark now, he's Kal-El. Kal-El was able to get away, passing by nearby stars and things along those lines on his way to Coruscant, drinking in some solar radiation whenever he gets the chance, whenever his body is allowed to. It's increasing his force sensitivity. His midichlorians will become more active. And seeing as we know the potential of Superman's solar radiation absorption abilities, we know that he can absorb. It's near limitless, which hypothetically means that his midichlorian count is near limitless. Whew. It is hot today, by the way, folks. So he arrives near. Basically coming into Coruscant's airspace. The ships, they pick him up in the sensors. The ship lands on a loading bay, and then, most of the high members of the Jedi Council, Yoda, Mace, even Qui-Gon, and Dooku, who's still around, I believe, at this point. He's very iffy at the moment, but I believe he is still around. So they go and they check in on this. And they see it's a pod, and they see this baby, and they sense this baby. This baby is very powerful in the Force. It's like, well, come from where did he? It's like, and then Dooku, who's, I would imagine maybe like some Jedi who are a little different, like Qui-Gon or Dooku, have been to planets that are like a little out of the ways, like Krypton kind of is. It's Kryptonian. It's like not known for their Force sensitivity. They are. It's like, this baby must be an exception, and all that stuff. This baby must be an exception. Baby must be an exception. So Kal-El would still very much be young enough to start the training. So they would deem him. So they would put him under the guise of the students, things along those lines. He's raised. And he goes about saying, though his innate power is clearly evident because of his biology. His biology makes him extremely sensitive and just naturally powerful with the Force. Which begs the question, could he be the chosen one? Oh. Now, unbeknownst to them, a couple of years into his training, another chosen one was born, a.k.a. Mr. Anakin Skywalker. And they were unaware that, and Plagueis and Sidious were both unaware of Clark at this time, and they were sent. They saw a new recruit, but they didn't think anything of it at the time. Though they could sense that he was going to be powerful in the Force, they didn't realize how powerful he was growing to be. By the time he reached a certain age, he would need a master. He would need an apprenticeship. He was a Padawan at this point. And I imagine that he would go under Dooku's tutelage. I can imagine that they were sensing something was off with Dooku, because I think they could tell something was not right with Dooku even before he left. Obviously, they didn't figure he was going to go full on dark side, but they put him under Dooku's tutelage. And I think having a new young apprentice, a new wide-eyed just youth to help train, helps keep Dooku, while still wary and a little untrusting of how the Jedi system order is going, still more or less in the light side. He's kind of his thoughts are kind of still ventured back and forth a little bit, kind of more of a gray Jedi code a little bit, kind of like Qui-Gon is, but he still stays more or less firmly in the light side for the most part. But like he is on the good side. He is on the side of the Republic and everything like that. Having this young Jedi here, and and I imagine young Kal-El is still kind of like a bubbly kid, kind of fun and all that stuff. Just enjoying himself, and that revamped energy kind of revitalizes Dooku's faith a little bit and things. So he agrees to teach him. So. I gotta stop using my so's and likes as much, because it makes me sound less intelligent. I'm quite intelligent, don't you know? I don't know. I know I'm not dumb. That's the whatever. Anyway, I was like, I don't need to stroke my own ego. I'll stroke something else instead. Okay, I'm digressing. So anyway, his training under Dooku would begin, and here's the thing. He'd be about 10 when Anakin is first found in Phantom Menace. So Dooku at this point is still a member of the Jedi Order, still in regular contact with Qui-Gon when they meet up. I'd actually imagine even young Padawan Obi-Wan, who only looks like he's in his teens. Ewan McGregor was in his 30s, I believe, but I think he was in his 30s, or was he in his late 20s? Let's assume he's in his 20s. Young Obi-Wan's supposed to be portrayed somewhere in his late teens, I believe. So. And so I would imagine that despite the fact there's a bit of an age difference, him and Kal-El would actually be kind of tight. They'd spar with each other a little bit, give their lessons, joke around. They'd be kind of like decent friends. The question becomes, one of the questions would become, first, how powerful is Kal-El at 10 years old with proper training and lots of granted, they'd be going on missions on the other planets and stuff like that, so he would not constantly be getting midichlorian or sunlight, which would fueling his midichlorians. And they would this would be something that would become apparent to Dooku when he's not eventually when he's not around the yellow sun. His force powers kind of wane a little bit. They're not as powerful as they normally are when the sun is out, or when he's had enough sufficient meditation, usually in the sunlight. And it's something, and he discusses this probably with Yoda and Windu and Qui-Gon, and they come to the conclusion that because of his biology, his midichlorians act differently. And so he's not as powerful when he's had time to basically charge up in the sun. Also, physically speaking, he's also pretty much a brick shithouse. No one can physically match him in an actual straight physical fight. Luckily, everyone has the Force, so that there's that little advantage too. In terms of sheer power at this point, he would be somewhere akin to, I would imagine Jedi. I imagine Clone Wars Obi-Wan would be a good comparison, or maybe Clone Wars Anakin, who's still has raw power, but he's very unstable and is not as refined. Kal-El's not quite the same way. Kal-El is able to keep his emotions better in check, especially with Dooku training him. Also, we need to figure out what would his lightsaber color be. Now, the two standard ones are green and blue, and usually it's about imprinting yourself onto the crystal, and the crystal takes on the nature of kind of what your stance in the Force is, kind of a reflection on your soul. They've explained that in the new canon. That's how that works now. Instead of going on Elam and just getting a lightsaber crystal, and it's ooh, that's the color I get. So, what would Kal-El's Force B, stance of the Force be? Would it be more towards the physical side of it, like Obi-Wan's with? Obi-Wan was much more of a duelist than actual strong Force user. He was strong, but it was more about finesse. Or would it be something more like Yoda or Qui-Gon, who was more heavily powered in the Force, but had a green light, which was green? Because of his overall power, you'd think it, but I do think it'd probably be green. I think it would be green. The blue would probably go better with the red, white, and blue Superman, but I think it would be green. I think between his training with Dooku, even though he'd be because of his training with Dooku, also he would be probably an expert swordsman. He would not be on Dooku's level at this point, only at age 10, but he would be an expert swordsman. And he'd probably be learning a lot of this. He'd probably be learning a lot of Makashi, the second form, which is basically a dueling form. So there would be that. Then now you cut over to the actual events of the Phantom Menace. Now, not a lot is actually going to happen with Kal-El in this case. I think him and Anakin will meet briefly when Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple, but I don't see much interaction. Dooku will briefly meet him, sense the power, and it's like okay, it makes me feel uneasy. But that nothing's really going to happen in the Phantom Menace. In the Clone Wars, we have to cut now to about, I think Anakin's supposed to be it's 10 years later. Anakin's 18. So I think. I can't be 100% certain, but I believe that was the case. So, yeah, Anakin's about 13, Anakin's about 18, so Kal-El will be about 20. At this point, physically speaking, this guy can take on a Wampa or Wampus and just, go toe-to-toe with that and just no problem without even using the Force. It's also just stated, people believe he uses the Force now to fly. He thinks he's doing that too, but it turns out it's just part of his biology. So yeah, he's known to be able to do that, which is hilarious. I think is hilarious. He's now becoming one of the strongest Jedi in history. I don't think he'd still be I don't like saying all the time. I don't think he would be quite as strong as someone like Yoda or the true masters. But he would be definitely a competent Jedi. He would definitely be a Jedi Knight at this point. And yeah, bug. Oh no. I'm gonna have to. Sorry, buddy. Either you leave the house, or I'm gonna have to squash. Sorry, a wasp or a bee flew in. Anywho, so yeah, he would definitely be powerful, and he would actually be a deciding factor in the Battle of Geonosis. Because here's the thing, Dooku. Once he became a knight, Kal-El, Dooku, I think Dooku does go to the dark. It takes a lot longer, and there's a lot less preparation time, but he eventually shows up on Geonosis, confronts his old master. It's not Yoda that does it. It's him that confronts his old master. And Dooku is a bit more wary because he knows just how powerful Kal-El is. Also, Kal-El helps in the fight in the actual pit, which he just takes out a lot more droids. Power, he just blitzes through them, honestly, because his durability wise, only maybe a really hard strike from. He's almost he's not lightsaber proof, but he's lightsaber resistant. It's stand down, my young apprentice. It's like I do not wish to fight you if I do not have to. Yeah, it's like, well, you should have made that decision before you decided to kill all those Jedi. It's like and then they both ignite their lightsabers. Like, you forget, I know your weaknesses just as well as you do. Without sunlight, your powers will not be as impressive, and will not be anywhere as formidable. And then they square off, and yeah, they duke it out. Now Dooku, I think, would still be the superior swordsman, but between his pure physicality, like a physical lightsaber strike from a Superman, from Kal-El, Dooku is not dumb. He knows he knows he really can't take any physical strikes from Kal-El. So it'd be, and every once in a while, his old frame, even with Force augmentation, can't take the strikes, because not only are you talking about Superman in terms of his physicality, but augment that with the Force, boom, just sends him into the wall at one point. He's able to get back, throw some lightning at him. Clark's able to throw some Force, telekinesis it. Again, Dooku's able to get away because he's able to play against Kello's weaknesses, and Kello's like, damn, he got away and all that stuff. He helps save the others. So that's what's gonna happen there in Clone Wars. Cut to Phantom Menace. Now, at this point, I would say Kello would be a Jedi Master, and probably the only one who could. At this point, he's stronger probably than physically. He's the strongest being in the universe. Let's not kid ourselves here. So we're looking at a Clark who's probably in his early 30s or late 30s or 30s, late 20s. So he's in his prime. And they don't age the Kryptonians like we do, so they age slower anyway. Force-wise, again, he's probably only rivaled by maybe Sidious and Yoda at this point. Even Window probably couldn't take him on. I would say though that again, he's never grown quite as able in terms of lightsaber combat as Dooku did, but he's still quite capable. So he'll be there, he's acting as one of the generals and things along those lines. So when they betray him, eventually, he senses this, and they blast him. It's like, except they just bounce off him. And they're like, huh? And then he just blows them away. Remember how Windu did that in the anime, in the, not the Clone Wars TV series, but the short Clone Wars miniseries. Remember how Windu did that against the battle droids? Basically like that, just boom. So, yeah, that's basically how that would break down. And then he goes back, comes to the Jedi Temple. He meets up with Master Yoda, and there's like, face and balloon of us. No, you can't do that. There's like, Master Yoda, we're doing this together. Very well. So, good. Master Yoda. It would be L, wouldn't it? It'd be Master L. I didn't even think about that until right now. You survived. Surprised? And actually, you know what I think? I think they'd make a strategy. Callow would be the backup. Just in case, because Yoda would want to try to face him. I imagine Yoda would want to face him alone anyway. So that happened. They go toe to toe. Just as Yoda's about to fall in, he flew out on his own. Yeah, he doesn't have to squish you. I'll never squish a wasp or a bee when they're outside, but they come inside, they're fair game because you're not supposed to be inside, buddies. And right as Yoda's about to fall, Superman floats and says, and then Superman just Callo's floating. There's like, go, Master Yoda. I'll take care of this. And it's like, and then he just throws in our sense. He just catches it, throws it back. Force lightning is only mildly affecting. Pulls out his lightsaber, and then the heat beams come out. Just and then just boom. Now remember, this Kal-El would not have the same qualms about killing Satan as normal Superman does, because he understands that, evil needs, if he has to, evil needs to be taken care of. The Sith need to be taken care of. He's trained as a Jedi. So he just blasts 2 holes right through his head and just done. Which then leaves the fact that also Anakin gets taken out. Remember, with Sidious gone, Anakin's dead. Vader is dead. There is no Vader now. Because he just gets left there to die. So with that, they have to go through a long discussion of what to do. I imagine more Jedi survived than they did than initially in Order 66, thanks to Kal-El being there. He probably went out of his way to protect a couple extra Jedi. But now it begs the question, what happens? How do they rebuild the government? Will the government trust them and things along those lines? Not right away. That is a given because they were under the impression Palpatine was still good. No one really believed he was a Sith Lord. They had to go and look for proof. Luckily, he had a helper. I can't remember that blue guy's name, but that was like his assistant for the longest time. So he had to have known things. So between Obi-Wan, Kal-El, they get information that is used to basically reveal who Palpatine really was. Really reveal that he's Sith, and keep the Jedi Order, while dismantled and in shambles, still alive. And so now what happens? Well, they rebuild. For 20 years, they rebuild the Jedi Order. Luke and Leia get trained as Jedis. They're alive. They're happy. They're there, and they become a great. I imagine they become a great brother-sister duo. More Jedi still get inducted. I think you'd see Kanan and Ezra still there. They'd actually now become Jedi, a legitimate Jedi. And really, now where do you go with the Star Wars story? There is no Empire. Han Solo's story is now completely different when you think about it. to just sum it up real quick, there would be eventually other enemies, but because of just the nature of who Kal-El is, Superman is, physically speaking, he could. I wouldn't say he could tank a lightsaber though. He'd be able to like a lightsaber would still probably graze him and maybe even cut him, but it would not. Like he could just be like, shh. It would have to be like a long, like slowly cut your head off kind of thing. And there's no way he's gonna let that happen. He could literally grab a lightsaber, burn himself, but be fine. It takes someone with immense psychological manipulative force powers because he would not learn a Kryptonian. He might find out about the Kryptonian martial arts. So, and yeah, you could actually make the argument he could. So he would be protected against mental invasion. He would arguably become the strongest Jedi ever. But because of the nature of who Superman is, he would not be, at least not from his own pursuit of power or anything, he would not be corruptible. You could not corrupt him. At least not in the sense that he's going out of his way to become a dark side. So yeah, honestly, that's pretty much gonna be the end of the what if, because I'm not gonna go into Legends, because that's all. At best, you could make the argument we could go into Snoke, but Snoke, frankly, would not probably be able to take on Kal-El really at all. He'd fear Kal-El. Kal-El would be long-lived, remember. At that one point, I can imagine him like taking like a 100-year nap in the sun while the Jedi Order is still going on, and then comes out like kind of a Superman Prime version, or Superman 1 million. Not quite that powerful, because I think there's like 10,000 years in the sun scenario. But anyway, that's the first what if of the week of what ifs. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who to win: Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. And that's perfect timing.